Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Council of Fire, your favorite House of the Dragon after show. I am your host, TJ, aka Fat Thor, and this week I am joined by my wonderful co-host, our fearless leader here at Agents of Fandom, TJ Zwarich, fellow council member Caesar, and welcoming back to the council our good friend Mark Pacelli. Mark, how you doing, buddy? It's so good to have you back. We were just talking. We had you on recently for the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We had you on last season for House of the Dragon. So I'm super happy that you were able to join us again. But again, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy to be back. I can't believe these seasons go by so quickly. I can't believe that we're already getting ready for the finale. It's nuts. But season 3 has definitely been an uptick for me over season 2, I think. And so I'm looking forward to the finale, but I'm happy to be back with you guys.
100%. I love that you brought up season 2. We've talked a lot about, the kind of a little bit of low of season 2 and how season 3 has done better. And I think this episode in particular, to me, is a really great example of how they learned some lessons from season 2. Caesar, how you doing this week, man? I unfortunately had to back out last week, so haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, man?
Good, man. It's great to see you again. Talk some dragons, but I'm good. This episode was great, so I'm just excited.
I have to say as well, side note, again, we unfortunately haven't been on the council together in a couple weeks, but the beard's looking amazing, man. I didn't notice it before. Mm-hmm. Beard's looking fantastic. I had to shout it out for you.
I mean, I got nothing against yours.
Oh, dude, you're getting there, man. You're getting there. This is a long time going, but it looks beautiful. TJ, how you doing, man? Good to see you. I would say shaved, baby-faced, and looking beautiful.
You know what's funny is I don't think I've shaved in a week. This is one where you see a little bit right there. This is why you got to watch us in video form. Watch on YouTube. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you are one of our amazing podcast listeners, we still love you and appreciate you. But you can't see Caesar's beard. You can't see my lack of mustache. That's a full week of not shaving right there.
Dude, you need to grow the stash out, man. You got to be the stash guy of the group.
I don't know that I
could do it, man. I think you could pull it off.
I could eventually grow something there if I tried real hard, but my face just gets so itchy. I can never get past the itchy face.
Yeah, I'll send you some good beard oil for you. That'll straighten you right out. I promise. But yeah, I think you should do the stash, dude. I think you could pull it off.
Maybe just ferment it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just let it grow, bro. Let it grow. But besides facial hair, we got a lot to talk about today. And before we do that, of course, we have to do everyone's favorite segment, a little bit of Whatcha Watchin. Mark, since you're our guest this week, and we pretty much do this every week, I'll start with you. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you gaming? Anything that you're loving right now?
Well, obviously, like I think so many of us, I've done multiple viewings of Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I'm looking forward to doing a third viewing when it gets to IMAX screens this weekend. So cannot believe how my expectations were already pretty high and they were surpassed. So I was so pleased with that. But on the show side of things, I've been on a kick of rewatching some of those amazing USA Network shows from the early 2010s. I've been rewatching Burn Notice. I forgot how good of a show Burn Notice was. So I'm in the middle of a rewatch there right now.
Burn Notice, that was one I watched like the first 2 seasons of, and I liked it, but I just, for some reason or another, just never went back to it. But I remember like that was the shit at the time. Like that was the TV show. Caesar, what have you been loving and watching lately?
Just like Mark, I saw Spider-Man twice.
Spider-Man, baby. Like that's what's going on right now, right?
I can't believe it's kicking Odyssey out of the thing. That's crazy.
I need to see that still too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just absolutely wild that IMAX was like, hey, it's Christopher Nolan, it's the Odyssey. You guys can hold those screens. And then they see what Spider-Man is doing and are just like, never mind.
Dude, Tom Holland is freaking killing it, man.
Yeah, living life right now. Really doing good. It's
Big
pretty cool to
movies
see.
at the same time. Like both of your movies are selling out. That's crazy, man.
And Zendaya.
Yeah, true.
All right.
I'm
Same house.
disrespect. I apologize. Yeah,
Yeah, you hate women. You've
it's
always hated
crazy.
women.
Hey, I'm not Sean, man. Sean's not on this week.
What's
But
that?
yeah, that's crazy. Especially
To be
like
clear,
since
that is
they're
the group chat
married.
joke. Sean does not hate women. Sean is a feminist and he loves women.
Yes, he does absolutely. You threw him under the bus a little bit there, TJ, but
That was you.
Hey,
you said that, not me.
you brought it up. You're the one who said it.
He said I needed a person to throw, so that's on you.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I mean, Spider-Man is the rave right now. We unfortunately we've only seen it once, but what
I have a kid,
what
so I
movie,
forcibly had a reason to go again. Like I saw it Thursday, and I was like, "Hey, son, you want to go? Yeah, let's go Saturday."
What?
So
Want to see Spider-Man, kid?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So I cheated.
I've
Hey,
gone twice, and
that's
I got
fine.
like the second time was really nice. It was in a similar boat, Caesar, whereas my nephew and his family is like moving back to Toronto in like this coming week. And the very first activity I did with him, just me and him, when they moved to Saskatoon, was we went to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in theaters. So he was 5 years old. We saw that in theaters, and now he's 13. And this was the last thing we did together before the move. So it was like a nice little full circle moment there. Yeah, I've seen it twice too. And I'm not going to say my thoughts on it because you can find that on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, right here on this feed.
Absolutely. What else you watching, Teach? Anything interesting since last week?
I have like a lot of the stuff I've been watching lately. Like not to be that guy, but I can't quite talk about yet. There's just been a flood of fun screener things that I've gotten to dive into lately. But I did recently just play Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I finished. I'm all done. And so now I've just I finished a little earlier than planned, so I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do until Wolverine comes out in September, which is like my next game that I really want to dive into. So I think I'm just going to, because it's in that universe and I have the Spider-Man bug, I've been replaying a little, just like Marvel's Insomniac Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And then I've been finally reading. It took me a long time to get to it because it was like $30 on Apple Books, and I wasn't going to pay that. It wasn't available on Audible, where I have a bunch of tokens. And so I've been wanting to read the Heroes of Olympus series, which is like the next series in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians franchise universe. And it finally became available at my library. So I've been diving into that as well.
I love it. Yeah. Speaking of games, that's basically what I've been doing. Haven't really been watching much, but Ghost of Yotei, I absolutely love that game. Something I kind of put away for a little bit because of 007, which is another great game. But yeah, Ghost of Yotei, been obsessed with that. And then other than that, I've just been, like you said, like TJ, working on a couple stuff can't really talk about right now, but also deep into Misery by Stephen King, which I'm absolutely loving right now. It's such a good book. But of course, I'm also watching Dragons, baby. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about this episode because there's a lot to talk about, I think. Well, I mean, it's not, again, we talk about this about a lot of the episodes. We don't get like a huge battle, nothing like that, but just the forwarding, if that's the right word, of the plot and like all these little pieces that are kind of coming together. I even just forgot before we got on here when I was getting my notes together, like you guys said, we have one episode left. I was like, holy crap, like we are already here. Penultimate episode leading us into the final. Mark, we'll start with you and we'll go around. What were your thoughts on it before we get into, the nitty gritty details? What were your overall thoughts on this episode?
As a penultimate episode leading up to the finale, I thought it did a good job setting things up. Lots of tension, obviously. So, a lot of stuff about to happen. Especially seen at the end. Our guy Ormund is a master manipulator, and he obviously loves chess. He's not good at winning chess against his nephew, but he looks like he's putting all of his pieces in place to make a serious play here. So I really liked this episode, and I think that we're in for an awesome finale.
Yeah, Ormond is definitely one of those like you love to hate, right? Like I hate him because he's such a jerk, but he's just so fun to watch. Caesar, what did you think of this episode again leading into the finale?
Man, it felt like it was getting close to the finale. I feel like they were definitely revving up a little bit. You said we didn't get a big battle, but that dragon, not to spoil.
True. Yeah. I mean, yeah, technically.
Man. I was like, ooh.
Oh, we'll get into it. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was amazing to me. But yeah, we got a lot of progression in the story. Man, I don't know. You know me. I'm just.
You're along for the ride.
I
feel the same way.
Yeah, it was great. No notes. Really.
TJ, what'd you think?
So I talked about last week how I wasn't really big on last week's episode. That felt like the weakest episode of the season to me. This one felt, and that gave me a little bit of pause for the final two, just because this House of the Dragon has had that like a little bit of a fizzle out towards the end of seasons. And so I was worried that was going to happen again. This might have been my favorite episode of the season.
Cole faced off against 3 of the Winter Wolves solo, and like he died bravely, you know, like that's what the history books say. And so to see that he just immediately ate shit, oh, I loved it. And like especially his big speech the week before about I'm gonna die with honor. No, hell, you're not dying with honor. You're gonna die with freaking arrows in your head in the mud, asshole. Oh, I love that. But Christian Cole rant over. My first topic of discussion today, which has a lot to do with the whole episode. We kind of end off the episode here, but we're going to start with it. And that's Helena's dreams. So we've talked a lot about how Helaena is a dreamer. You could also maybe say possibly a green seer, similar to Bran, where she can, you know, move her consciousness, all that crazy stuff. But here we actually get to see it, which I absolutely loved, because I mean, we've known about the concept of Dreamer since the original Game of Thrones series, but this is the first time we see what that actually looks like. So the first one we get is kind of her standing in this barn with this horse. And to me, a lot of these dreams we see her have are obviously all about escape, and not necessarily escape in the sense of like, oh, I, you know, want to live, which obviously she does, but like she just wants to get away from all of this. And the very last vision that we see her have is we see her on her dragon, something that she has said is she's not too, you know, crazy about the dragons. And I mean, it feels like it's setting up a big thing with Helaena, maybe what we're going to see this next week. But I want to get your guys' takes on these dreams. Kind of lump them all together. But Caesar, I'll start with you. Do you think that her dream, we know that they come to pass in some form or fashion, but do you think exactly what we saw her seeing is going to come?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know, because with the dreamers, it doesn't have to be exactly that, right? Or it can't, it is, right? So it's confusing. I felt like they were all messages, even the ones where she was just in the barn. Didn't she see like a light or something? Didn't she say that?
Yeah, the sun was, which calling back, I think it was episode 6, when Alicent told her, like when they were trying to leave, she was like, we're going to stand, you'll stand in the sun or whatever. So I think it was calling that back. And I don't mean to cut you off. I'm very sorry, but just something else to ponder as we talk about you mentioned the horse. I thought it was a kind of interesting parallel how the first vision is her with a horse. Second one is her and a dragon. Right. So it kind of feels like she is caught between these two. Like, should I leave just peacefully and just like do what I want to do? Or am I going to go Targaryen mode and choose violence? And that's how I'm going to get out of here.
So maybe she gets a choice then. Maybe she gets a choice at some point, and that's what that dream is. I'm realizing that in real time a little bit, because the last shot with her, and then she definitely does Dracarys, right? She kills.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
she's like dressed up too, like
yeah,
kind
the
of has.
armor. Yeah, I'm like, oh,
so,
like you're doing this.
Yeah,
This isn't
so
like an accident thing.
Yeah,
So,
not just like, oh, I'm in a hurry, I need to get out of here. Like this was like, oh,
like you run something.
I'm killing shit.
Yes. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe yeah, maybe there's. I don't know if we end up seeing the vision, but I definitely now think that she's gonna get a choice of some sort. Yeah.
Mark, what do you think?
I didn't read it as a choice as much as like the madness she could fall into if she has a boy and that boy child is taken away from her and killed. Because like that's
true.
kind of
I forgot to mention that.
First, right? Is she has her kid, it's immediately given to the knight for him to take away, implying that it's a boy and an heir, and almost that makes her fall into the classic Targaryen madness, and so she hops back up on Dreamfire and finally says Dracarys. And it was cool to see Helaena in that form. I think we obviously know she doesn't want to get to that point. Like she's just the sweetest little bean that we have on this whole show. And so the thing I found most funny about that scene was just like how poorly Rhaenyra was handling it. And I think it was so funny how it did start with like classic sibling stuff. Like the way the camera just like had Rhaenyra just like head pop up into the frame right over her of just like
Ew.
I think most people with siblings can attest they probably just like at some point have woken up to their other sibling right on top of them being like, hey, it's time to do this. I was the sibling doing that. I was the sibling doing the wake up because I'm 8 and 10 years younger than my sisters. So they were teenagers trying to sleep in and I would be like, hey, it's Christmas. We doing our stockings at 6 a.m. And so that's I thought it started kind of fun where she was like, my sister, our father, he said this, let's hang out, let's talk. And that's clearly how you have to get through to Helaena. You have to make her feel comfortable. You have to make her feel safe. And building that relationship would be the best way to go about things. And then she just fucking turns. Have you dreamt about this? What did you think about this? What did you think about this? And it's just like, you can see Helaena just getting more scared and annoyed by the second. She had the right idea right off the hop and she just lost it immedially.
Mm-hmm. Mark,
you go on vacation. Sorry, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, Rhaenyra needs to
calm down. What's going on with our girl, man? But Mark, go ahead. It's a lot.
Mark, what do you think about Helena's visions? Do you think that they're going to come to pass as she's seen them, or do you think there's more to what she's seeing?
I think that, like Caesar also alluded to, it's kind of up to interpretation. Like she probably sees some version of what will transpire. But I mean, Helaena, just what a sympathetic character first and foremost, just because, I mean, she's the only person in her immediate family who has zero desire for authority and power. I mean, even when she was literally the queen, she was only ever off being a mom. She was trying to take care of her kids. Like she had zero.
Very true.
Yeah, like she has zero craving for power. Like she mentioned, she gave up dragon riding. Like she just wants to be left alone to be a mom and have her crazy visions. Which also I can see why she wouldn't want to take anything that the Maesters made her. She's like, I have enough crazy shit going on in my head as it is. I don't want any substances in my body that could impact it. But it's just I feel for Helaena because obviously she's undergone severe tragedy in her life, seeing her child ripped away from her and obviously killed, and being fearful
also,
that if I have another child,
your brother, and
well,
most of those acts weren't even consensual to begin with, and
Yeah, I mean, for when you're a Targaryen, you got to expect a little incest. So I left that out for a reason. But I mean,
no sense leaving out incest today. We're going to be talking a lot about it.
That's true. But no, it's you really feel for her because she really just wants to be able to live her life, and it just seems like everyone is just pulling her in every direction. And now that Rhaenyra realizes that she is a seer of some sort, a dreamer, she's just trying to be like, well, tell me what's happening here so that I can use this to my advantage. It's like, this poor girl just wants to be left alone.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that Helaena, like you said, is probably the most sympathetic character that we have on the show. And like you just said, it made me feel like before now, obviously she's lost a good couple over the course of the seasons, but I think before we always, like every time Helaena was on screen, it was with those kids. Like we didn't really even see her without the kids. So that was a really great point about how, like you said, she just wants to, be a mom. And I think, again, this whole, especially what TJ was talking about, where Rhaenyra kind of confronts her about these dreams. It's like, she doesn't really understand them either. And like, she is just as like kind of scared and confused by them as probably anybody else would be. So like you said, I just feel for her so bad. I hope she takes that horse and just gets the hell out of there. But I just loved seeing from the perspective of like what these dreams look like. Again, we've heard so much about how Aegon had the dream of conquest. But to me, I feel like we see here what this is kind of showing for me is how these visions are not like a one-to-one. Like, it's not like, oh, I saw myself on a dragon, so that's going to happen. Like, it's, I don't know, you could say maybe possibilities, or they're fragments of images, if you would. And only a dreamer would understand that. So like with Rhaenyra, like questioning her, like in her mind, she thinks like, oh, she just had a dream of the entire future, which is everything like Rhaenyra is basically going off of. So she's relaying it to Aegon's dream, thinking that, again, his dream was just purely like, this is what will happen in the future, and that's why I must be on the throne. But again, now we see it's a lot more complicated than that.
Exactly. It just shows she doesn't understand it at all, because
exactly.
Aegon has this dreams of the Song of Ice and Fire, and it's going to happen 300 years later.
Yeah.
Helena's not sitting there dreaming about what's currently going on in the present. And it's not like sitting there like a drone sitting above their fucking battle being like, oh, here's exactly how it happened.
Yeah, exactly. I'm feeling like it's more like a Dune, Paul Atreides situation. Like, he sees possibilities of futures depending on the choices you make. And we kind of talked about that a couple episodes ago with how talking about if Rhaenyra maybe is misreading this prophecy. Like, the prophecy is true, but it all depends on who's interpreting it and how you interpret it yourself. But speaking of Rhaenyra, like you said, she's just like she's losing it, man. We love our queen. We never disrespect the queen here, but we've been talking about this kind of slow downward spiral. And I think the scene with Helaena really kind of represents that, because again, she is just like, I don't know, like a rabid dog, like, just like, tell me, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, tell me about the dream. Like, tell me, is this true? Right? Like, am I doing?
Notice she was gripping her wrist like that. Sorry,
that's what she.
I'm like, that's what she's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like, girl, get off of me.
Yeah, she was literally losing it, like, in that moment. And we see, I mean, again, no disrespect to the queen, it kind of makes sense. We talked about this pretty much every episode, but her counsel is just absolute shit. And Daemon is always off. Like, she has no one really consoling her besides Mysaria, who we will talk more about later on. But we see even Mysaria, like, she's playing her own game, man. Like, I don't necessarily doubt that she has relatively good intentions for Rhaenyra, but she's for sure out for herself, playing her own game. TJ, we'll start with you on this one, going around. Can Rhaenyra bring this back? Can she kind of reel this back, do you think? Or kind of like Aegon says in this episode, is it only a matter of time before this all falls apart?
I think it's only a matter of time before it all falls apart, and I honestly don't have a ton to add to it, so I'm going to just straight up throw it to the number one Daemon Targaryen supporter, because, I mean, what's he off doing here, Mark? I don't see Daemon helping our girl Rhaenyra out too much right now.
Well, maybe that's because he's been offering her some pretty good advice, and she keeps ignoring it.
What's the good advice? Burn everyone?
Well, he said that they should invade Dorne. I think that that she probably should have taken him up on that advice as well. No, but listen, Daemon is, for the first time, this guy's been an absentee dad his entire time being a father. He's trying now to save his daughter. He's trying to prevent another loss of life. So that's what he's off doing right now. Obviously, he gets himself caught in yet another situation where he has kept something from Rhaenyra. There's no trust really between those two. But I do think that he had the best of intentions to support her as queen and do what was best for her. But it seems quite evident that every time he does offer up advice, she's like, well, no, I don't want to do that. She was a little conservative. He said, like, we have so many dragons at our helm now. We really could be taking more land. We could be prospering, and she wanted to be more like her dad, which is noble. But maybe he was a little bit right. I don't know. Like when you know that there's people also vying for the throne you just secured, just saying, all right, now we're going to pack it in, might not be the best strategy. Just saying.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you, Mark. I think, which is a really great parallel, I think, in this episode. Like you said, we do get the mention of Viserys and how, Rhaenyra is like, yeah, I've been trying to be like him and it's gotten me nothing, right? And I think it's very important to remember that Viserys ruled over like one of the most peaceful times in Westeros. And I think
he did a bad job of it.
That's what I mean. He didn't even do that great of a job, but it's like you have to take into account the difference in circumstance. Like the Westeros is in shambles kind of everywhere right now. So no matter how much Rhaenyra would like to be like her father, even if she is and she's doing what her father would have done, it's not right in where the kingdom is right now. Like that's not the type of ruler that the kingdom needs, or the Red Keep, what at King's Landing. Sorry. But yeah, Mark, again, I think I totally agree with you. While Daemon obviously kind of went against the queen a little bit, I think part of it is he's also kind of keeping her in check in a way. It feels like, and this is again just my personal read, but feels like Daemon knows Rhaenyra better than probably anybody. And I think he can see her spiraling and know that, which obviously trying to protect his daughter as well, but he knows that she could make a very bad decision off of impulse. And I think him trying to, like, yeah, he's, tricking her in a way, but to me, it felt like his way of making sure she doesn't lose herself more than she's already doing. Caesar, what did you think? Again, we kind of talked about a lot here, but again, Rhaenyra not really having that support. What do you think? Do you think Daemon is, I'll admit, not in the best ways, but do you think he is trying to help her in his own way, or is he more out for himself? Like Tej is kind of saying.
There's 0% consideration for Rhaenyra in this time. He's seeing her spiral.
I would argue that.
He's seen her spiral all season, and he's just gone and done his own thing.
No, I think two things can be true. I think Daemon as a character is used to making his decisions by himself and for himself. And yeah, he's married, but he's also Daemon, and we know Daemon. You know what I mean? So I think that maybe when he storms off, when she doesn't listen to him, that's him moving for himself. For his daughter, that's him moving for his daughter. So you could say that's more him than Rhaenyra there. You know what I mean? But that's why I'm just saying two things can be true, because I think that he is kind of really trying to help her, but I do think at the same time he might crash out soon because she can't figure it out.
Yeah,
I think he's actively trying to help Rhaena. Like, I do think he's trying to be a good father for the very first time. I just think with Rhaenyra, he's made her second or third priority at all times, and like, she's the queen. It's not his job to say you should be doing this. It's his job to say, what should I be doing, my queen?
I don't know. Yeah. Why do you think second or third priority though? Like what I feel like after
Rhaena.
What's the second one? I'm sorry,
Rhaena.
Wait, what was the first?
Himself.
But what do you think he's doing for him? You know, he's still in the castle. He's still kind of hanging around doing whatever she needs him to do. When she sends him somewhere, he goes somewhere. I don't know.
She hasn't done. She sends him somewhere and he hasn't gone yet. He said no every single one of these times. He's been concerned with his gold cloaks, or concerned with Rhaenyra, or concerned with killing a random shepherd and bringing her ahead to convince her that the guy's already dead. Like he hasn't.
Yeah. This is an interesting.
I would say, but while I don't disagree, but I would also, I think I want to point out Mark's point again as well, where I think, you know, right or wrong, like Mark said, Daemon has brought up a lot of different strategies and plans which Rhaenyra has not listened to, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. You know, maybe she shouldn't listen to them.
The strategy was murder everyone, guys.
No, I get you, but what I'm saying though is you got to think Daemon has been the prince his whole life. He's been the leader. What were you gonna say, Caesar?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm sorry. This is new for him.
That's what I mean. Like he was the leader of the Gold Cloaks, and all of these people love and listen to everything that he says. But now he's faced with someone who he can't do that with. Like she is the queen, and he can't just say, "Oh, this is what we're gonna do," and her go along with it.
That's why he just runs off like that. Because he's like, whatever.
Exactly. You know? Like I think there's. Again, I don't disagree. Like you said, Caesar, I think two things can be true. Yes. Like and that's what I think is so interesting about Daemon's character is there's a lot of nuance there. And I think depending on, you know, how you view it, like we said, you can really go either way on it. And I think, again, both can be true. He can be out for himself, but also still be trying to help and care for Rhaenyra. But
I don't see how that's true at all. Like, I haven't seen a shred of evidence that he's been supportive of her this whole season.
Dude, he loves Rhaenyra, man.
Yeah, he loves her. Absolutely, but that doesn't mean he's ever going to put her above himself.
See, all
of season 2 was about him learning about this prophecy and being like, oh, maybe she is the one. I have to go do what Rhaenyra needs. And it lasted 30 seconds.
But see, I feel like he is trying, like you said, doing what she needs, but she doesn't always know what she needs. And again, not saying that Daemon is right. Not saying Daemon's right.
To think that he knows better because she can't do it.
Well, again, I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's right, but I'm saying in his mind,
in his brain,
she can't see what needs to be done, so he has to do it. Again, not saying what he's doing is right.
I'm saying that's what makes him not be able to support her, because it's always in his mind, he thinks he's above her, even if she's the person of prophecy. And so that's why he's never going to be an actual supporter of Rhaenyra. He's always going to do what he thinks is best.
But what if
he thinks he's
supporting her progresses himself, though, is what I'm saying. You know, like with the prophecy.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
That's
the two things can be true. Is that in supporting her, it can also help him. So yeah, he could be selfish, but at the same time, if I'm supporting my wife and helping her do these things,
but that hasn't happened yet. There has been no supporting or helping.
You don't think that the gold close thing that's going on in the city has anything to do with connecting to Rhaenyra, though? Even if it's for him, right?
He didn't want him to worry about the gold cloaks. He went and did.
But he should have, though. A good example of why
and they all died.
Yeah.
He did, and they all died. He didn't listen to her, and they still all died.
I mean, yeah, it didn't work out, but still, I mean, we saw the gold cloaks were a problem. Like, that was a problem, and now we know that it was Ormund this whole time. So again, kind of,
and she was saying, "Take your dragon and go after Ormund." So she could, if he listened to her, she could have immediately dealt with that problem. Those gold cloaks wouldn't have died.
I thought Daemon was the one who wanted to burn Ormund. No,
she wanted Daemon to go to Tumbleton with his dragon and handle Ormond himself.
Oh, see, I thought Daemon said that.
Take Caraxes and burn Tumbleton, but take Caraxes to Tumbleton and have Daemon Targaryen, the best sword wielder in all of the Westeros, go in and kill that dude.
See, I
have to deal with I have to go and deal with my gold cloaks because they're mad about not being paid. And she said, I can't pay them because we have no money. So go deal with the dude who's stopping us from having any money.
Yeah, I mean, true. I thought, from my memory, Daemon, like, immediately Daemon was like, yeah, like we have 6 dragons. Let's just go burn the shit out of them.
He did say that. Say that. She said, no, you go and kill him. And he said, no, I got to deal with the gold cloaks.
But that two things, man. Yeah, man. Oh, this is such a great conversation.
It is.
It's him directly saying no to her.
I mean, yeah, but again, the
right.
gold cloaks.
I think you're missing them. We're saying that even though he's saying no, doesn't like. Yes, he can be technically disrespectful to the queen by disobeying her orders, but if he's used to this way and his ideas could also actually help, I'm not saying that makes him the biggest villain. That doesn't make him not support her. It means that he's hard-headed. You know
I'm
what I
saying
mean?
it's irrelevant in his head if he thinks he's supporting her, if in reality she's not being supported. Like we're talking about, like from Rhaenyra's perspective, there's no support coming from Daemon.
Yeah.
But she thinks
100%.
there's no support coming from anybody, too.
There isn't.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, there really is.
But nobody's supporting her
Who's
either.
the Valerian son? Who's him?
Oh, yeah.
Alan
Alan is out.
Alan's the one guy.
Yes,
Alan's the
Alan
one
is
guy
the
helping
one.
out right
But we
now.
also just said Mysteria is helping. So
She's
that's
not helping us all.
Mysteria, though,
She's
yeah,
playing
she's-
Rhaenyra like a
no, we
fiddle.
know that.
Yeah.
We know. I think y'all. Okay, I'm saying that multiple people could be trying to help while still be doing their own thing. It's
Yeah.
still terrible, but that doesn't mean that they're not helping in making these weird moves. Alan's the only one that is straight up like, I'm new here. Whatever you need, I got you. big
We were
dog."
talking about this before the pod, and I was saying, like, I think House of the Dragon is missing like a Podrick or a Samwell Tarly character. But as we're talking about it, I think that's Alan, man.
Still not Alan though. It's still not based.
Well, I don't mean like the comedic side, but just
That's
like
where I
this
got you.
solid person. You know, like
Oh,
they're
damn.
solid. They're
I just
like,
think that, but they already throwing him in the incest, man. So I don't even know if I'm supposed to support this all the way.
well, what? Yeah, isn't he technically her uncle?
Yeah,
he would be
yes.
her
That was
uncle. Yeah.
nasty.
I mean, yeah, it's nasty, bro. But this is
I know it's a
Thrones.
time. I'm
This
just
is-
playing.
this
I
is
just can't. You're right. Fine.
pretty
I didn't touch
tame
his
compared
sister,
to
no.
the usual.
Pod wasn't touching on his aunt. That's all that I know. So I still could use a pod that don't.
Yeah, I would say
That's one
Podrick
pod.
is the only
Full
safe
clan.
one, man.
That's what I'm saying. I did a full cleanse because Alan was there. Then I saw him kissing, and now I'm not. All right, we got to figure something out.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to do the comedic thing with Dan Fogler's character, Manderley. I think they're
oh
trying
yeah,
to,
the
to
tax
make him
guy.
kind of comedic. It's not quite Podrick
Right.
level, but I feel like that's what they're trying to
yeah,
do.
True.
but he's just kind of like in the like. I want someone who's involved in the shit.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up though, because that was such a funny scene where he's like, "Am I just here as a scapegoat?" And everyone just kind of like, I mean, basically.
Anyway,
Right, yeah. In other news, yeah, I love, and in the book, they basically say, like, they straight up say that's the only reason they hired him for the job because people already didn't like him, and so they were like, yeah, we can just blame all this shit on this guy. So I'm glad they kept that little bit in, but. We're talking all about Daemon and, you know, if he went against Rhaenyra, if he didn't. And I mean, we could talk about that all day, which I wish we could. But I think it leads perfectly into one of the bigger parts of this episode dealing with Rhaena and Sheepstealer, where we've seen the previous episode. She's kind of in hiding. She knows Rhaenyra thinks that she's responsible for Jace's death, which is another, you know, very divided thing that I think you can look both ways on. But big climax of this is we get the show. Rhaenyra finds her and Daemon along with I want to say Alan, but it's not Alan. The other Hole, Adam. Yes, Adam of Hole, and we get just dragon face off, which was so freaking cool, man. I mean, we've seen, which I know that's kind of a criticism I feel in all Game of Thrones. Like people are always like, more dragons. I want more dragon fight, you know, blah blah. But I loved how we had this dragon fight on the ground. Like that was just such a, I think, creative choice and really just showed the power of these animals. And something I loved about this scene, I want to get your guys' takes on, is we talked a little bit about how in the beginning with Rhaenyra and Helaena, how Helaena doesn't really want to ride the dragon. We've talked about how Viserys believed that, you know, dragons were a power no one should be able to handle, and like no one can handle it. And I think that this scene to me was a really great example of that, where we see obviously like Rhaenyra's dragon and Daemon's dragon, listen to them pretty good, but things quickly get out of hand. And we see pretty much all of the dragon riders like ducking and like just like we got to get out, like it, like they really don't have control over them. And I just thought that was a really great way of showing the point I think that this season and the show is kind of trying to make is regardless of the Targaryens' connection with the dragons, ultimately, like we've talked about, they're a nuclear weapon, and like they really cannot be controlled. Mark, before we get to like the conclusion of what happens to this, what did you think of just like, again, seeing these dragons fight it out, and again, kind of how it represents the power that they have compared to the Targaryens?
Yeah, you make a fantastic point. I completely agree. When you see a dragon rider, like Daemon, gives a command to Caraxes, Caraxes is very obedient when it involves, whether or not you're going to burn human beings or where they're going. When another dragon is involved, that sixth sense that they have just takes over. They are no longer an obedient creature. They are an apex predator, right? And they are going to take out that other dragon. And so they see Sheep Stealer and they're like, it's on. I'm not listening to you anymore. Like I'm taking advantage here. I think your comparison of nuclear weapon, it's very apt because they have such destructive capability. They can burn an entire city to the ground at a moment's notice if they want to. And so when it comes down to these select few dragon riders being able to battle, another reason why you shouldn't piss a dragon rider off by saying he can't go to the pub. It's you don't want to play with fire, for lack of a better term. So, but yeah, when another dragon is involved, you just don't have that type of control, no matter how good of how well you've trained them. I mean, we saw in previous seasons, Aemond thought that he could play around and intimidate his nephew, and then the dragon stopped listening, and suddenly you have just started World War Zero, I guess, because there wasn't any World War yet. You started this, the Targaryen Civil War. You can't play around here, and none of them are smart enough to realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% going back to, I mean, we've seen Daemon pretty much all season saying, we are gods, right? Like, we are not normal people. But we see they very much are not gods. Caesar, what did you think of the Dragon Brawl?
Honestly, the direction of it was fire. I thought I was watching like Avengers. It looked really cool. And I tried to watch a little bit of it before we watched it, before we started today. Yeah, good point, Thor, about like it being on the ground. I didn't notice, I guess, even though that they're on the ground, but I guess that's why I could focus so much. It almost was like the best shot, maybe dragon fight, I feel like, in Throne.
I think for sure. Everything. Like, I mean, we've seen them kind of like, go at each other in the air a little bit, but this was like
because of the air, they're always flying and moving. It's almost like watching like a Transformer fight sometimes. It's like, do you know exactly what is an arm and what is, you know what I'm saying? Everything is too fast. So for this, seeing the bite, seeing them get in, like rip it apart, then fire into, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Y'all need to leave. This is bad. But yeah, I don't know. There was a great point too about the dragon, they can't control them. And I wonder if that'll play a part into anything later on too. The fact that Viserys said that, what is that, season 1? And
episode 1. I think that's how the show opens.
Really? That was the first episode when he says that.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the very first lines of the episode of the series, is like hit that conversation.
That literally, maybe it has to lead more into it, because this is the first time that I'm seeing it in that way that you guys are putting out. I don't know, visually it was just awesome. On top of the emotion of the scene, like that scene was really cool to me. Even the fact of them, this is my last part. I'm sorry, Daemon talking to, is it Rhaenyra, right, or Baelish? Rhaenyra,
yeah,
right. Rhaenyra, and he's trying to like console her, but he sees Sheep Stealer. He's like, I got a duck while I'm so, girl, what are you doing with him? Out of nowhere, the other two dragons come. I'm like, oh, this is.
See, when they first popped up, I thought it was Baela and Adam, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, it's Rhaenyra. I was like,
me too. I shit myself. I was like, y'all need to. Never mind, you can't, because then Rhaenyra's running, and then Adam catches her. I'm like,
yo. And speaking of, Adam is fast as hell.
Yo,
He caught her so fast. I was like,
Great 40
oh,
time,
she's
yeah.
gone. And then
Bro,
2
she
seconds
was
later,
far.
he's got her.
She was far. Like, you can't even. I
Yeah.
looked at a little person away, and out of nowhere, he's like, "I've got her."
He's
I'm like, "All right."
Well, I mean,
March,
Adam's
240.
big, strong, fast. Rhaena has eaten like maybe
Yeah.
one piece of sheep in the last 3 weeks.
That's a
Like,
great point. She's
Yeah,
not.
you know,
like
Sheep
that,
Stealer
man.
ain't sharing a lot of that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, she's hurting on that run. That
Yeah, she is.
that run hurt her gut a little bit. Okay, even Squeeze probably did too. More, I think. All right, okay, but yeah, man, it was incredible to me. It was
this was one of my favorite scenes of like Thrones, of like anything Game of Thrones. I thought it was so incredible. It was like the most dramatic version possible of like that comedic scene where everybody's got 2 guns and they're pointing at 2 different people, and then they switch and they point at somebody else, and then oh, hey, who? But with dragons, and it was terrifying. Like
Literally.
every dragon fight we've seen so far is these dragons soaring through the sky, and it's often from views far away, and they do look like these mythical creatures causing damage. But to see them, 4 of them, this close up with the humans all right there, knowing any of these characters could theoretically die at any second because one of these dragons could just snap. All of them are just holding on to their, not controlling their dragon, but just like getting them to chill just enough to have this conversation, and one thing could set it off and have it go wrong. I thought the tension was just so palpable, so incredible. I love this scene so much. I thought it was just true cinema. And man, it was so cool when Rhaenyra pulled up. But shit, man, Cyrax kind of a little bitch compared to these other dragons.
Yeah, Cyrax definitely is lacking in some battle experience, which I was thinking about. I mean, have we even really seen her ride Cyrax besides in season 1 when she was a kid and like came to meet
we've seen
Daemon?
Millie ride Cyrax.
That's what I mean. I don't think
than
we've
Darcy,
seen what's it called? Grown up Rhaenyra. I'm blanking on actor's name. Emma. Yes, Emma Darcy. Jesus, what is wrong with me? But yeah, I agree 100% with everything you guys said. I think one of my favorite scenes, and again, really just kind of, to me, visualize that juxtaposition of, like TJ was saying, the dragons being these mythical, elegant beasts in the sky that, you know, rain fire. And here it's just down, brutal dirt. Like, you see how vicious these animals are, regardless if they're breathing fire. Like, they are just brutal. Like Mark said, that I think that like instinct, I mean, kind of like it's like dogs in real life, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can have the most well-trained dog in the world, but at the end of the day, they're still an animal, and they have that animal instinct. And if they're threatened by another animal, it's game on. So like Mark said, I think when you have dragons involved together, that control that the Targaryens have is almost non-existent. And I want to say that it's been a long time. Maybe someone watching this back, or maybe someone in the chat can remind me, or one of you guys. I want to say, didn't Daenerys also sort of lose control of her dragon in the like when she's burning King's Landing? I remember she intentionally does that, but I want to say there was a point where she tried to, you know, get the dragon to hold off a bit, and it was just like, hell no, like we're in the shit now. So again, just going back to like Mark said, there's a certain point, I think, where this connection, again, the dragon instinct brain kind of takes over, which I want to talk about again too with Aegon. But one last thing I want to say about Rhaena. So, you know, we get this big dragon fight. Rhaena is taken hostage by Rhaenyra. Doesn't kill her immediately. Again, our queen has mercy. But I do want to mention that the Lady of the Riverlands, when she meets with Rhaena, she mentions how people in the village have been talking about Sheep Stealer is, you know, flying around, and that its rider has been something, and mentions nettles, like living among nettles and whatever, which is a reference to the book, because in the book, Sheep Stealer's rider is a mysterious girl named Nettles, who they don't, you know, she kind of shows up, does her thing, and then they say she goes off and lives in the mountains. So I just really like that little drop, because to me, that kind of indicates that obviously Rhaena is Nettles, But to the history books, because no one knows it was Rhaena, they just kind of label her as this Nettles character.
I was gonna say, if this ends that like Rhaena doesn't actually get shown publicly to anyone,
Yeah,
that might not even be a change. That might just be like that's another one of those things that you could go.
Mm-hmm.
It was we called her Nettles because we didn't know who she was, but actually it was Rhaena.
And that's 100% what I took from her mentioning Nettles. I thought, like you said, that's 100% how it kind of went down. They just didn't know. I mean, Rhaenyra didn't even know it was Rhaena. I'm sure the common folk don't even know who Rhaena is, right? Like, do they know that much about the royal family of like, oh yeah, Daemon Targaryen has 2 kids, Baela and Rhaena? You know, it's like they probably don't even know that. So I love that. Again, like you said, TJ, just a great example of how they're taking things from the book, which again, for people who have been tuning in, is more of a historical document. And so here we're seeing how it really all played out. And so I love that, because there was a couple people out there that were like, oh, they changed that. Like, there's no Nettles, like blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was really clever, and I liked that. But next point of discussion, we've talked a little bit about him. Again, we love to hate him. Ormond Hightower, still playing his little chess game. We saw him take Corlys hostage last episode. We see him trying to big dog him with this lavish dinner, you know, classic Bond villain move, having your hostage and, you know, showing him all the shit you got. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot to take from this scene, and the scene with Darren and Gwaine, which I got right this time, because I always call him Gwen or Gwyneth, whatever, but I took note of his name this time, Gwaine. And I mean, again, what do you guys, I'm going to leave it off to you guys before I talk more. Again, Ormond's playing this chess game, but do you think he's really as in charge as he thinks he is? I think he's a little too big for him. He thinks he's too smart, right? Caesar, throw it off to you first. Is Ormond really as smart as he's letting on, or do you think he's more, what's the word, hubris, I guess?
Again, 2 things can be true. I think that he is I think he thinks he's smarter than he is, but I also think that he's ahead of the game than anybody on the Blacks is right now. So it doesn't matter if he's not that smart, because he's winning right now. It's and it looks
the smartest around,
right? So it does, like, I'm smarter than you. So
Yeah.
You know,
it's like that Jaylen Brown comment when people were, and this is funny because we have a 76ers fan and a Celtics fan on the show right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But it's like that Jaylen Brown comment where a reporter asked him, like, hey, there have been these reports that you think you're always the smartest one in the room. Is that true? And he's like, I mean, in sports media,
I am.
It's not that high of a bar. So yeah, I am the smartest one in this room. Like,
yep, that's actually perfect.
Yeah, sorry, Gwaine. I don't think.
Sorry, dude. But I don't know. I every time we see Ormond, TJ mentioned last week when we were here, like, is he? The more I think about it, TJ, maybe he was like, is he one of the best Thrones villains? We'll see how it ends. Is what I don't know. You got to see how it ends. I got to see how it ends.
Potential for sure.
But he's kicking it up. He's kicking, but he's just so disrespectful. Wasn't he eating fish and telling him it was nasty? What was he eating? Was he saying, I couldn't believe this stuff is so slimy? How it's supposed to be a delicacy?
Oh no, he was talking about like fat, or like he was eating.
Oh, the fat on it. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I thought it was eating. It looked like
that would have been sick. That's that would have been dirty, man.
Like, anyway, so I was just okay. But yeah, like the fact that no one on the Blacks know that Corlys is gone right now, besides his son that has a finger. Like, there's a lot.
Which not happened in the last episode. So
he still didn't tell Rhaenyra that. So I'm like, the fact that no one really knows what's going on and he can just play around like this, disrespect his wife to the point where he's like, "Can I go back to my seat, to my chambers?" Like, he's just moving vicious, in my opinion. So he's so much a wild card that. Maybe I was still wrong. Maybe he is smarter. Maybe he is that smart. I don't really know. We don't know him all the way. And I don't know if we'll be able to find out. Maybe he dies before we get to figure him out all the way, or maybe he stays. If we got one more episode, he's here next season. So
I hope what
I'm thinking.
I hope he gets burned by Darren's dragon.
See,
That's
that's
gotta be what happens, right? That's
Yeah,
gotta be what
I
happens.
mean, because he like had that whole
Man.
thing about like dragons are shit and blah blah blah,
you
and
think it
like
happens next week though, or no?
I don't know, but that would be great. That would be
Here's
a
the
great
thing.
full circle.
Here's
Mark,
the thing. Like, the reason I think that's gotta happen is because
they
he's
set
been
it up.
playing this chess game battle,
Mhm.
right? He's got Ulf, which we'll talk about at the end of this now.
Yeah.
He's got
See, this is
Corlys captive. He's sending him some fingers. He's playing a chess game with Team Black with the world. Now, what game was he playing with Daeron? The Sivas or whatever it's called. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. Sivas, the chess
Yeah,
like
basically
game
chess. Yeah.
that they were playing
Oh, the game with
in like within Game of Thrones. It's a real game that George R. R. Martin made up. Who beats him?
I would say, yeah, Darren beat him. I
Darren.
was gonna bring that up. So yeah.
How does Darren beat him? With his dragon piece.
Oh, I
Ormond is
didn't
going to
notice the
dismantle everybody else. He's going to take down Team Black to the point that they're not going to know what to do. And then Darren and his dragon, Darren the Daring, are going to burn the shit out of him.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that's got, like you said, that's got to happen. We watch enough TV and movies to know that foreshadowing and symbolism like that is not just throwaway. So I really hope that happens. And again, TJ, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up about how he beat him in that chess game. And we kind of get alluded to this when Darren is talking to Gwaine and he's like, oh, he's so focused on these other things. He doesn't see what's right at our front door, which again, paralleling the chess game, he was so, he thinks he's so fucking smart. And like Darren's just a little idiot Targaryen and didn't see the piece that was right in front of him. Mark, what do you think about Ormond and this the dynamic with Darren? Again, do you think he really is as far ahead as he thinks he is, or is he, again, like Darren is saying, not thinking about the immediate threats in front of him?
Yeah, so much to touch on here. I mean, what's the age-old saying? Momentum's only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. Like Ormond has a ton of momentum right now. He does look like the smartest guy in the room. He has the blacks scrambling around, like they don't know what he's up to. But all it takes is for you to take your eye off the ball for just a second, and that all comes crashing down. I mean, we have seen people in this show itself look like they're the smartest person in the room, and they have everything going for them. And, Rhaenyra takes King's Landing. And then the very next episode, she's like, oh, shit, this is hard. Ruling isn't easy. And in Ormond's case, I mean, first of all, I love Ormond. This guy is doing smelling salts like a hockey player before a face-off. Like this guy, he had the incense going in the last scene. Like this guy's got he's always got a little something going. But he is focused. His play is installing his nephew as a monarch while antagonizing the shit out of him. Like, if that's your end game, then you have to wonder what your standing is after you install him if he hates you.
Which I think, like you said, Mark, I think again, both things can be true. I think Ormond is smart. I think he thinks he's smarter. But to your point right now about, him wanting Darren to take the throne, I was thinking, and get your thoughts on this too. Do you think he could kill Darren? Like maybe his end goal is he's going to kill Darren, make him a martyr, and then that way more people will come to their cause and, take him as the king that should have been or whatever. What do you think Ormond would go that far? Or do you think, like you said, he more so wants to instill him as king? Because like you said, I mean, it's clear Darren doesn't really fucking like him anyway. So maybe Ormond knows that as well.
I feel like Ormond, that might be his blind spot. I feel like he's not. I think he believes that Darren is so fearful of him that he's going to be obedient and do whatever he says. When in reality, he's having his side conversations with Gwaine where he's like, "This dude's a monster. I cannot deal with this guy." So if he does have a grand master plan long term, that okay, my my stated goal as I'm printing the currency with Darren's head on it. Like I'm going to say that we're installing him as the rightful king, but really I'm going to kill him off. That could blow up in your face when, again, that young boy has a dragon. And it's very clear the way he talks about Targaryens that he is not, he thinks that they are nothing. But, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to be able to pull it off. And at this point, his plan has been working. Yes, it's been strategic, but his plan has been working because the ones with dragons have chosen not to go nuclear. And yes, he now has, as we'll touch on, he is recruiting another dragon to his side, and that's his latest play, and that's fantastic. But can you really trust the sanity of someone who can be bought off by a few cases of beer?
Yeah, exactly. But that's a great point, Mark, that you bring up with, like you said, Darren being maybe a blind spot for Ormond, because I think that would play perfectly into what we're talking about right now of, again, him disregarding the immediate threats that are right outside of his door, that being Darren. He doesn't recognize that could even be a threat because, like you said, he is just so confident that he has Darren under his thumb. But we have quickly, because I think it just kind of all fits into everything we've just talked about with Ormond. But like you just said, Mark, we see here too that he has recruited Ulf to his side, which not surprising. I think we could all kind of see that coming. Dude just wants to get trash with the boys. Like he's like, I don't care about this dragon shit. I just want my castle. So Caesar, we'll start with you on this one. What do you think's in store for Ulf? You think? He's an idiot. I think he's he'll screw something up. But do you think he'll actually like do something for Ormond?
Yes.
His campaign. You think?
Yes, and that's why I was so pissed when I saw his face. This is gonna work, yo. He's going to die. Don't worry about that. He's going to die after, but it's going to work. I don't know who he's going to get because he's so stupid. So I'm going to be sad to know that they died by Ulf or got hit by Ulf.
Dude, yeah, if you get killed by Ulf, you don't recover from that. The history books should not even mention
it. Let me fall off a cliff or something. There's so many better ways than Ulf dying, killing me.
I'd rather die of disease and flea bottom than get killed by Ulf.
What? Question before I answer this more. What's the other dragon rider, the blonde one that had
Hugh Hammer?
Are we thinking that Hugh trips over too? We heard Ulf talking to him last time.
I mean,
that's what I'm scared of.
He's pretty conflicted right now with his wife trapped in Templeton. So
all Ormond has to do is give him the right deal, play him on the right tip. That's easy. That's a bad.
Might even be easier to convert him than it would be. I mean, Ulf, again, you just got to give him a beer and he's good. But I mean,
I'm still with you.
Hugh Hammer has much more of a reason to go with, there's a lot more at stake for him.
Exactly. And I'm thinking this only because I was getting scared for the Valerians too. They were going to switch, but now, thank God, this happened with the Rhaenyra thing. Maybe we have a little love over there for Rhaenyra, but otherwise she's going to lose everybody. But anyway, I just was thinking about that. Ulf, though, I think that it might actually work out. I don't know who Ulf is going to be able to get, but he has a dragon. He can get whoever he wants, or mad people if he wants. It's a dragon.
Well, that's what I mean. What do you think? Question for the whole council. Do you think that he's going to be playing a role of a double spy, or is he just he's on Ormond's side now? He'll send him to burn, whatever town.
I don't know if he's smart enough to do it
deep enough for it to be.
I don't know if he's smart enough for the double spy even.
I agree for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like you're better off just sending him somewhere, burning some people up or scaring some people and then killing them.
I agree that Hugh could possibly be very easily turned as well. I kind of feel like Adam and Bela are the only ones that are definitely not going to be. But to me, the reason what's making this most interesting is if this was really a Team Green versus Team Black situation, then it'd be very much wow, Team Green's got the clear edge here. They're going to be taken over. There is no fucking Team Green anymore. Like
That was actually going to be one of my questions. Do you think after this episode, so we have Ulf now is kind of switching sides.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this in a second, but Aemond is biding his time. Aegon, again, we'll talk at the end, but Aegon Dragon's back. I was going to ask you guys, is Team Green back? Are they coming back up into the ranks, or TJ, you're saying
there's no way Sunfyre and Vhagar are going to be on the same team. Like these dragons and these people, these dragon riders, they hate each other. We've seen no interaction between Aemond and Ormund or Aegon and Ormond. There's no reason to think these guys would just be working together, especially considering he named Daemon king. All three of these people want to be kings. There's Daemon, who doesn't want to be king, but Ormond wants him to be king. Aegon wants to be king, and Aemond wants to be king. They're all on their own fucking teams. They're not with each other.
That's a very good point.
And so, like Team Green, but don't know because of that. And then when they find out, they can't become Team Green because of the same thing.
Like what happens when Vhagar comes around and just burns the shit out of all of them because he doesn't want Daemon to be his little bro to be a king. Like it really is. The only thing giving Team Black any hope is they actually there's 4 different groups potentially coming at them, but if those 4 different groups combined, they'd have no chance.
It's over.
You could make the argument, though, that Team Black has very similar discord among them. I mean, you have
because they
number one. I mean, Bela has made it quite known. Like Rhaenyra won't even look at me. Like I'm fighting for a queen that doesn't want to acknowledge my presence because it reminds her of Jace. You have Daemon, who's not. There's no trust between the two of them. She already had a falling out with my main man Corlys before he lost his finger, unfortunately. But I mean, Corlys basically just said, "Your chain's fake," and stormed off. Didn't want to have anything to do with her. That was her hand. I mean, like, Team Black doesn't have much going for it right now either.
Yeah, I think things would be going down a lot differently if Corlys was still on that council, man.
My dog.
He would have this shit.
Died a bastard.
I love Corlys. I think he might be my favorite character.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I appreciate last episode that Alan checked him though and was like, "Why are you supporting Rhaenyra? She didn't even give you the name when I asked." He's like, "You've had 20+ years to do that, man."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Not you. Anybody but you can say that.
Anybody but you can say that. Exactly.
Talking, man.
Why are there so many basketball references? My worlds are combining. It's throwing me off. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I love
it. AKA Jaylen Brown. And
like, I'm sorry, Thor. I don't know if you get into it like that. It's like a whole.
I follow the Bulls, so unless there's a Bulls reference in there,
I apologize. But at least you're here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. But
great points though.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely fantastic points, Mark. I think you hit it on the head. There's definitely strife in both camps here that is preventing them, I think, from having victory on either side. But I also agree with TJ's point, and I think the strife in the Team Green is a lot more immediate. And like you said, basically all of them are trying to get the throne for themselves. And we even got that set up maybe 2 episodes ago, whatever it was. But Aemond and Aegon are basically after each other, right? Like that's like their kind of primary mission. Like Aemond's going for Aegon is going for Aemond. Like that's kind of what I feel like they're not even really concerned about what's going on in King's Landing, which Aemond kind of more or less says in this episode.
Didn't he say that's his new castle? He's like, I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, so perfect
which
segue.
Is wild because the last vision Helaena gave him was like, "Hey man, you're gonna die there."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Screw." She's just freaking weird, man. I think Aemond doesn't give a shit.
He got some, and now he's like, "Man, I'm gonna stay put."
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Because
yes, I was gonna say that we're leading right into it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
too excited.
So we just talked about not too long ago how we know how things go in Thrones, and while it's disgusting, this is typically how it goes. But this, I was gonna say, this like really stepped it up. Like, and so
not stepped it up. Oh,
no,
God.
Yeah, made the wrong choice of words, but took it over the line. Yeah, like that was. I mean, yeah, that was
This
far.
is the
And
nastiest
granted,
incest in Thrones history.
I would say, granted, it was just a vision. It wasn't real, but it was real to us. I mean, it was real to us.
I was actively going like,
Me
Yeah.
too. I was like, no,
Yeah.
it was terrible.
if I could have sat and thought about it, I would have realized like, hey, Alicent would never do this. This must be a vision. This must be a dream.
I kept saying
But I
that
didn't
out
get
for
the
myself.
chance because it was so quick. It was so immediate. I was like, oh God, this is no, and just like I couldn't do it. I couldn't
Yeah.
watch, man.
No, it was brutal. But again, this was just a vision, or well, that's kind of my first question I want to ask you guys. Do you guys think? Because I'm not sure how to think about it. One side of the aisle, I'm thinking, do you guys think that this was just Aemond projecting what he wants? I mean, we know he wants his mom. I mean, that's pretty clear. But the other side of this, and this is where I'm leaning towards, do you think Alice purposely made him see that? Like using her.
I got one better. I don't think she made him
powers.
see it. I think Alice was literally Alicent the entire time.
No, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
that's
Like
what
she
you're saying. I'm
was
sorry.
using, she was using
Absolutely.
her
Absolutely.
projection powers, whatever it is, to
trick
make
him into
him
getting the
think
baby.
she's Alicent. Or like I said, do you think this is more of just Aemon's own trauma? You know, his old, weird thing he's got with his mom. Caesar, we'll start with you because it seems like you're pretty firm on your stance here.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a lot right now. This episode was
No, bro, let it all out.
Gee, bro, that's that witch, man. It's that Aaron Hall lady.
I think so too.
Not that
sure.
I like Aemon or anything. I don't. But at the same time, it's her. It's no. I mean, it was clear once she's on top of him. She's like, oh no, come on, we can still keep going. Like it's fine. I can't do it. So I think even because I watched it the second time today, and I'm thinking of how Alicent is literally saying stuff that only Alicent would know. That's why I knew it was the witch, because she was saying, he's like, how did you come here? Like without any disruption or something. And she's like, oh, Helaena left. I'm like, how would Alice know? Okay, you doing stuff. This is Alice. You know what I mean? So, because my point is, Aemon wouldn't know that. Is all. If it was his own vision, he wouldn't know that the Helaena. So because of that, immediately I'm like, oh, Alice is doing some stuff.
Yeah. So, what sealed it for me was when she said I'll give you a son or whatever.
Yes.
Because again, the way I read it, which is super fucked up, it doesn't make it better. But like again, Aemon wants his mom, bro. Like that's what he wants. So Alice,
your mom, you'll give me a baby.
So
man.
Alice was doing that so that she could get pregnant because she knows like he's really hung up, which is just it's so freaking gross. Is
Mr. Martin okay? Is George is he all right?
Well, I'll say this isn't in the book. This is
it's implied though.
Yeah, I mean Alice and Aemon are definitely they get it on in the book, but the whole thing with like him being obsessed with Alicent and like wanting like romance with her is, I mean,
so the incest part for them is fake or no?
Not fake, but it's just not mentioned in the book. So like I think the show is kind of using Aemon's mommy issues as a way for Alice to manipulate him and whatnot.
Respect. Got it.
Look, Caesar's just happy that after they started making the black people do incest too,
they still trying.
That they leveled up that the white people are going to do worse incest.
Yeah, you have to.
Now they about to do a triangle of love. Adam is out here trying to take his sister. No, it's
niece, not sister.
Whatever it is, he's trying to get the family, and I don't like it. They're trying to switch.
There's a love triangle between both uncles and the niece, but this is still worse.
It's worse.
A million times worse.
You got it. Still pissed. You got it.
This is like, oh man, this was nasty.
Mark, what do you think about? Again, I think we kind of all agree that it was Alice using her witch magic, but we talked about this a little bit. But what do you think? What is her endgame? Right? Like, obviously, she wants Harrenhal, right? But like, why does? I mean, we see that she was doing pretty well, scaring everybody off before. So, like, what do you think her real end goal is with getting Aemond and having him stay there? Like, what is she playing at?
Well, it seems pretty apparent that despite the legends about Harrenhal, I mean, everyone knows, hey, that shit is haunted. Like don't go there. You're gonna have some Luigi's Mansion style bad dreams if you go there. People still keep showing up anyway. So I think what she wants is to fortify Harrenhal so that no one will ever try to come. I mean, she has those dragon eggs that she showed to Aemond. I think probably her line of thinking is, well, I need a baby from Aemond to connect with these dragon eggs so that we can have some dragon riders here. Like then no one's going to mess with us. No one's going to come take this castle from me. I feel like that has something to do with it. And why not find the exact way to get Aemond in the mood than portraying his mother? I mean, it's clear that Oedipus Rex was an inspiration behind this storyline, which I was forced to read when I was in high school. It's just, even for Targaryen standards, this is creepy. But I mean, she even alludes to it. She goes, all you Targaryen boys just want the same thing. It's like, yeah, she knows. She knows.
Yeah. Our mothers.
Yeah, because Daemon was dreaming about his mom too.
True.
This is a terrible.
Dude, yeah, come on, man. Come on, George. We get it. All right, we get it, George. You don't need to hammer it in so much.
Yeah, for real, man. Oh my God.
There's keeping bloodlines pure, and then there's whatever this is.
I was saying we've jumped the shark a little bit as far as the bloodlines go. But that I love. Again, I wasn't here last week, but that's such a great point, Mark, about how they have those dragon eggs that I totally, forgot to consider. And we have to talk about. What'd you say, Teach?
Do you think 3 of those are Dany's?
I don't think so. But that's a whole other conversation. But there's eggs that go off on a ship to Dorne, and like those are technically the ones that Dany ends up with. But again, there's a lot of things that happen between those 200 years. So I think the show definitely wants us to think that. I think like we're definitely playing with that idea. But we've talked a lot about the disgusting parts of this whole dynamic and this part of the episode, but we got to talk about the real Alicent, not Alice trying to be her. The real Alicent does show up, and so we saw last week she is basically on a mission to kill Aemond. And I gotta say, I talk a lot of shit about Alicent in this show. We've all given Alicent the brunt of a lot of criticism.
On me, man.
You're right. I say maybe not TJ. We'll leave him out of this. I have though, and I'm gonna double down. And I think I'll say I love to watch her as a character. She is the actress playing her absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying this of like, oh, get her out of here. Like I love watching her. I want to argue though. I think she is one of the worst characters in this show, morally. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, literally almost every episode now, she's been trying to kill one of her kids or her grandkid. I mean, she did not give a single care about Helena's leaving that child behind in King's Landing. And now we see her deploying her little plan to try and kill Aemond, which she does. I mean, we leave it as cliffhanger, but I mean, we know Alice is going to save him. He collapses in front of her. So we know that's going to happen, but in her mind, she did it. She was like, yep, I'm out of here. Aemond will die in a few hours. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously there's extenuous circumstances going into she doesn't really have a lot of choices at hand, but what do you guys think? Do you think she's, again, one of the most morally corrupt characters in this show? Because I think, like I said, this episode, I think sealed it for me. She's been doing, she's always scheming to kill somebody.
Okay. Can I say she's one of the worst parents? But
100%.
People? Because I feel like there's way worse individuals as just things they would do. I know she's trying to kill her kids.
I would say that
her kids are literally like the devil, bro. All of her kids are
true. All her kids are terrible.
And we're at a time they're all kissing and killing anyway. It's I'm not giving it a pass, but it was kind of like last week when me and TJ talked about, help me again with the other Dragon Rider, with the blonde guy, Hugh, right?
Yeah, Hugh.
Yeah. He technically abused his wife by putting his hands on her, but we know he wasn't trying to hurt his wife. These are terrible times, and he's like, girl, help me, please. It was one of those. So that's my point. We're in terrible times. Everyone is terrible. Everybody in the show is low-key the worst, for real.
Yeah.
Besides like 2 people. So with Alicent, it's like, bro, if we go from the past, from the start of the show to now, man, I feel for it, though.
I mean, again, yeah, I don't think, again, given the circumstance, I'm not saying she's completely like wrong, but I mean, again, we saw she, more than willing to kill her 2 sons, which I will give you 100%. They're shitheads, so like
that's crazy to say out loud, though.
But again, she was totally fine with leaving Helena's already born kid, but also she was completely cool with just giving her unborn kid up. She was trying to convince Helaena.
Stupidity, though. You don't think we get that to like naive, like being naive? Like she could literally, in her brain, even though this sounds dumb, she could be like, I'm gonna just go kill Aemond and then come back and we're gonna be okay. Like that sounds stupid, but maybe in her head, I'm trying to give her a benefit of
no, that's what I'm saying though, is like that's why I say like morally, because like and I think it kind of calls back to what she's telling Rhaenyra, and we're in her actions, we're seeing the warning that she gave Rhaenyra and how she will lose herself. And again, given the circumstances, it's understandable her mindset of thinking, but I'm just saying her willingness to do those things. And again, even like the unborn baby, first she tried to have her abort it, and then when that didn't work, she was like, well, you're gonna have to just give it up, and hopefully Rhaenyra won't kill it. But she wasn't sure about that,
and then left. You know what? I think you got me. I forgot about the aborting part. All right, it's too much with the kids.
I say, like I said, I understand the action. I'm not saying she's wrong in doing it, but she's, again, I would
Helaena part though, because Helaena ain't need to be none of it. Helaena had to tell you, oh, when you married me with my brother. Like,
yeah. TJ, go ahead.
Okay. Let me make a comparison. She has recognized that she has failed everywhere as a mother, and that's why I kind of call her the anti-Cersei, because like Cersei, you have given birth to these little devils, and she recognizes that and therefore tries to separate herself from them and attach all the small amount of goodness and humanity left that she has to Helaena. As long as things are good with me and Helaena, as long as I can keep Helaena safe, I won't have to worry.
So is Helaena going to torment?
Okay, keep going.
Listen, here's my comparison. This is no different than what Daemon is doing with Rhaenyra. Because in Alicent's mind, as long as she can keep Helaena safe and get out of here with Helaena, and as long as I'm supportive of Helaena, that's all I can do left. I'm doing the right thing. But to Helaena, is she feeling supported? She's being forced to kill her unborn child. She's being forced to try and flee this castle, leaving her other child behind. None of these things Helaena wants. None of these things actually help Helaena. It's the same thing with Daemon. Daemon got the prophecy, so in his mind, he's supporting Rhaenyra. He's doing what he needs to do to support Rhaenyra. But it's not for her. It's for him. Ultimately, it's for him. He's doing what he thinks is best. He's doing what he thinks will further the Targaryen name and legacy and what will get him what he wants. And that's the same thing Alicent is doing with Helaena. Supporting, but not in any ways that Helaena actually wants her to be supported in that way. And I think that's what makes both Alicent and Daemon such compelling characters, because they're so often that they're like, shit, you're right. Shit, you're fascinating. Especially when you put both of them in a room with Rhaenyra, because she brings out the best in both of these characters from like a interest standpoint. And I think Alicent and Daemon are kind of two sides of the same coin in that regard.
See, though, I think Alicent would leave Helaena. Honestly, I think she would leave her if given the, given the right circumstance. I think you're right. In her mind, she's trying to do everything. She sees Helaena as her last chance. But I think, again, backed up to a corner, I think she would betray Helaena too. Mark, what do you think about, again, Alicent, and do you think she's, again, one of the more morally corrupt characters, or like TJ's saying, do you think, again, which I mean, there definitely is nuance there. I'm not saying it's just black and white.
That corrupt. Like I'm saying, yes, agreed.
Yeah. And also, side note, before I pass off to you, Mark, we need a scene of Daemon and Alicent together. I don't think we've had that before.
Yeah, that
right?
picked my brain because he almost said that, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, and like you said, TJ, like they both bring out these different sides of Rhaenyra. I think it would be so interesting to see how the two people who know her best on two sides of the coin,
I need that.
How that interaction would go down. Mark, what do you think about Alicent?
It's a really interesting subject, and there's a lot of parallels between this show and one of my other favorite HBO shows ever, Succession, in more ways than one. But in this case in particular, it was always, oh my God, I'm so on team Roman right now. Like this guy, like he looks great right now. Until they then fuck up and look worse than the rest of their siblings. Like everyone on this show is the absolute worst until someone else does something worse than them. And so, like in the case of Alicent right now, you're thinking, I mean, she was going to leave her granddaughter behind to get her and Helaena out there, which was not what Helaena wanted. Kind of to TJ's point, like, are you really doing what's best for Helaena when you were going to leave? She wants to be a mom. You're going to leave her child behind. Like she's doing. She's making a lot of decisions right now that make her look like she's the worst morally. But give everyone on this show an opportunity to show the worst of themselves, they're going to do it, right? Like 100%. As the number one Daemon Targaryen supporter, this is a guy who celebrated the death of an infant because it improved his odds of ascending to the throne. Like they are all capable of showing the worst sides of themselves the second they think that it is advantageous for them to do so. So right now, Alicent looks like the most morally corrupt character. She looks like she's really looking out for Alicent more so than anyone else. But Rhaenyra has shown that she can do that same thing. Corlys has shown that. Corlys is my guy. He has shown I'm only going to do what's best for my bastard sons. Once it's this is very advantageous for me to suddenly legitimize these guys again. Like they pointed out, you had 20 plus years to do that, sir. You chose to do that now. Everyone is capable of being the worst version of themselves, and they're pretty much all going to at some point.
Yeah, and
I also think there's a lot of this. What Alicent is doing, a lot of it is like exaggerated version of like pretty classic boomer and older parenting styles of like, it doesn't matter if you're happy, I need to keep you safe.
Yeah.
As long as you are alive, I am doing a good job as a parent. I don't care if you hate your life. I don't care if you hate me. As long as I keep you safe, I am doing my job as a parent. And I think there's a lot of that with Alicent as well, of like, fuck these boys, I'll kill them if I have to. I will protect Helaena at all costs. And protect does not mean protect her well-being, protect her mental health, protect her
just staying alive.
Staying alive.
And humanity, I'm going to just make sure that her heart continues beating. And as long as I do that, I did my job. Yeah, and that's part of why I think Daemon and Alicent are two of the most compelling characters in this show. They're both latching on to the whole, I've been a terrible parent. Let me try and fix things with this one kid right now. But neither of them know how to do that properly. And so they're botching it, much like Rhaenyra is botching her kingdom because she doesn't actually know what to do, because she doesn't have any support. Because Alicent and Daemon, two of the people most qualified to help her, are too selfishly doing their own things. And so therefore she's falling apart. Like, it's such a fascinating web to me of like everybody trying their best and becoming worse people because they're failing in every single step of the way.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of one of the main, I would say, themes of A Song of Ice and Fire and all of what George is trying to say with these stories is nothing is black and white. Everybody is in a gray area. Everyone can do terrible things. Everyone can do great things. So like we have Jon Snow, obviously is our big hero, but he is not infallible either. Or, everyone brings up Ned Stark, which is probably the closest character you could get to someone who is mostly all
Ned,
good.
Great heart. Problem with Ned, idiot.
I would say, but he still did things that, were morally gray. And so I think, like you said, Mark, while right now I would say Alicent is the most morally corrupt, we see, again, everyone has those shades, and which brings perfectly. I want to mention this comment we got here. Not sure what the gray mare was about. So in Helena's vision, which we skipped over a little bit, but we see she has this vision of an eclipse in the sky, and then snow and frost start coming, which I think we can all guess that's her dreaming of the original Throne series, when the Long Night, the Night King, the eclipse, I would say, is probably I think it was an eclipse, but the whole thing with Daenerys and like the red moon or whatever, and before the dragons were born. So that's kind of how I read that. But this gray mare, I think, to me, this is how I read it, and obviously open to interpretation, but I think fits to your point, Mark, here about, again, everything is gray. There's no right or wrong answer. And so Helena's first vision, the horse is white. Then she sees the gray mare. And then at the end, we have the blue dragon. So again, my reading on it was kind of the gray mare is representing these choices that she has. She could either go with the white horse, which typically represents death. So, that could be meaning it's, if she chooses that, she will die. Or like I said, we talked about in the beginning, the choice of taking the violent Targaryen route, which maybe will lead to her surviving. But like we all talk about, and Helaena says herself, the dragon's basically corrupt. So what would happen to her given that circumstance? So that was my take on the gray mare, but obviously very open to interpretation. But, please, if you all have anything to add on that, please do. But we got to talk about Aegon, obviously, kind of the big, how we leave this episode. We've seen him and Larys on their little journey basically this whole time. They picked up Tywin Lannister on the way, and this kind of all comes to its conclusion here, where Aegon decides, you know what? I ain't going out like no bitch. Which I was like, dude, I get what you're saying, man, and I respect it, but this ain't it, man. And I loved how Larys was like, okay, I see you. I'm out. Like we've talked a lot about like, oh, what is his plan with Aegon? Like, what is his end goal? And to me, like when he was just like, oh, so like this is what you're gonna do. Okay, like to me that just showed like he didn't really have a big plan with Aegon. He just knew that having him would give him an edge. And now seeing that plan is not going to go anywhere, he's like, okay, off to my next scheme. And it just absolutely
stay alive.
That's what I mean. Like, so he thought at that moment he needed him to stay alive, and then he's like, oh, you're planning to die? All right, man, I got a few other things I got a few other coals on the fire, so I'm gonna go check those out.
He's gonna go find some more feet to stare at.
That's it.
Literally. But so then we get the reveal, which was set up to us a couple episodes ago. But
honestly, sorry to cut you off.
Good
for Larys. Give me
for sure
a good, wholesome, clean.
I don't know about wholesome.
Fetish.
Whoa.
Wait, where we going?
Wait, what?
All this fucking incest that we get in this show.
He's right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely compared to that, but I don't know, wholesome.
To all this other shit that we see.
You're right. I take the foot fetish over to Adam and Alan just because the black people not supposed to be doing that. Yeah,
10 times out of 10. Like that is tame, is clean, is good.
Don't touch the road.
Literally,
I don't want to do it.
People got dirty ass feet in Westeros. But
the people in Westeros must stink so fucking bad, dude. Like,
imagine what Ulf smells like. Don't do this, bro. Imagine what Ulf smells like right now.
Even the lords and ladies, they gotta smell like shit, bro. I'm sorry.
Ormond's bringing perfume and oils everywhere.
I can't wait till they bring that. I mean, I know we saw like a little bit of it the last episode when he like started gagging from the people's blood and stuff, but I cannot wait. Like I know they're gonna bring that back. Like they're gonna do something gross
grow up in like the final battle.
Yeah, like, I can't. Dude, they should literally just have the dragons going and just shit everywhere, and Ormond would be out of there.
I lose my mind. He's just like falls to the
pile of dragon shit, and it is over,
his
bro.
body.
Tej, you're muted.
We were talking about like we think Darren's just gonna burn him, but I would love if when we see Ormond die, it's just like dying in something that smells terrible.
Yeah, just like disgusting.
Like,
Yeah, like that's showing of Spider-Man that had the fart attack. Apparently,
I was gonna say, Mark. Thank you. I was saying that for Ulf though. Ulf just he giving me you in the bar all the time. I know you don't look like you clean well, Ulf. You don't. And you drinking a lot. I know you smell like boo-boo. I know it.
Everybody in that show smells bad.
Rhaenyra don't seem like she stinks. All the royal Daemon might get a little every now and then, but Rhaenyra seems like she should be fine.
Have you seen King's Landing, bro?
Never mind. They got rats and
rats, cats.
You're right. My fault.
Fucking, I'm sure dragons smell awful too. So they be riding.
Time to live in.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anywho, sorry.
But back to Aegon, like you said, his dragon, which was set up for us, is still alive and comes to his rescue at the very last moment. I mean, I hate Aegon. He's becoming a character that I love to hate. I would say before I just hated him and just like, screw him, but I'm not coming around to him. But again, he's a lot more interesting to watch. And I think he's getting a little bit more complex. But man, that scene was awesome with the Dracarys and just blood. He's screaming. Yeah. That was great. But again, I've asked this already and saying, are the Greens back? I mean, Aegon is technically kind of back on the field now. He's got a dragon. He is obviously him, which also great visual parallel as well with Aegon's face all messed up and burned. And then his dragon, half of it is all I love that. I love that. Yeah. But this is like more theory time stuff. What do you guys think is going to happen with this? Because I'll say right now, from the book perspective, this is kind of a mystery. They talk about how Aegon and Larys are kind of disappear after Rhaenyra takes King's Landing. But as far as my memory goes, I don't think we get a conclusion of like what happened to them on the road. So now we see not only are they not together anymore, but Aegon got his dragon back, which again, in the histories, they say it just disappeared. So they say it was in that pit and the people were like, charging money for it and everything. And then one day it woke up, burned all those fuckers and like just disappeared. And no one knows what happened to it.
Did anyone ever mention Aegon after that?
No, that's what I mean. Both of them are kind of just like lost to history. No one really knows what happened. So again, what do you guys think is going to happen with this? We talked about how he's going after Aegon, but you think he's going back at the end of this? Like, does he even still want the throne after all this? TJ, we'll start with you and go around.
I think part of him does, just because like we see him, like that was such a great scene where he is, I am king.
Yeah.
And Sunfyre is just rising behind him. I thought that was so awesome how like twice in this episode we get like all-time moments to me, because that and then the four dragons all going face to face with each other with just
really making the dragon scary this episode.
Yeah.
Like coming in behind him, I immediately thought of like Jurassic Park when like the T-Rex comes out, right? Like they really emphasize that, like we talked about, these things are not only powerful but just fucking scary, bro.
This is why I kind of think like I have no idea where it's going to go. And that is very exciting to me because, like, yes, we have our Team Green versus Team Black. But, like, if you sat down and asked Aegon, hey, would you rather join up with Rhaenyra or Aemond? He's picking Rhaenyra 10 times out of 10. Now, I don't think he would pick either of them.
Right.
But if he had to. And then it's kind of the same with Ormond. Like, Ormond has already named Darren King. And therefore, that puts him against odds with Aegon. It puts him against odds with Aemond. There is no team there. They're three distinct teams. It's a team green, yellow, and orange at this point.
So you think we're leading to the Battle of the Brothers?
I think we're leading into the Battle of the Brothers. And I think maybe Rhaenyra gets caught in that. But I also think her best bet at this point might just be to like scrounge up as much money as you can and just try and let these guys destroy each other.
I was gonna say she should just figure out a way to like get all that information and play them against each other on some shit, and then just.
This is why she needs a real master of whispers instead of Mysaria, who's just like, let me make sure I got my nice little place in this castle, and I'm
That's so real. That's so real.
Yeah, we'll talk. We got to talk. We'll end this with Mysaria because I got some thoughts on that too. Mark, what do you think? Like you said, are we leading to the Battle of the Brothers right now? Is Aegon gonna resume his campaign for the throne and like try and take his rightful place, if you would?
So first of all, I love that Sunfyre is basically the definition of that internet meme of the guy in the hospital bed. I lived, bitch. It's like, it was just absolutely perfect that Sunfyre is back, and that Sunfyre arrives just as Aegon is for. I wouldn't say the first time, because the first time was the previous episode where he stabs that guy who found out his identity. But like really for the first time deciding I'm not going to be a whiny little bitch anymore. I'm finally, even though it was really dumb of him to go up against a whole army and say like, you know who I am? Literally, do you know who I am? To a bunch of people who could have killed him off in a second if Sunfyre hadn't miraculously been back. But it's just so ironic that Sunfyre shows back up at that moment, and then he's like, "Oh, I have this advantage at my disposal again," and he has a Lannister, who Lannister's very wealthy, so like suddenly he has a financial benefactor too, and he has a dragon. Someone who is mentally unstable and cocky and arrogant as Aegon, I can see him trying to go off without really fully thinking and trying to gain more allies and saying, well, I'm in this position right now because of my one-eyed brother. I'm going to go take him out. And he's probably heard that Vhagar is off doing God knows what. We don't know where Vhagar is right now. So I could see him trying to go after his brother first, get that revenge before he goes back to do the more difficult thing and try and take King's Landing again.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. And I think, like you said, I think he's definitely going to be high on his britches after this little victory he has. But again, I think, like you were saying, his own hubris, I mean, one of his best plays right now, or the best thing he has, is that everyone thinks he's dead. So as soon as he reveals he's alive, that's going to bring problems to him. So like you said, if he starts going off and recruiting, the word is going to get out fast that he is still alive. Caesar, where do you think Aegon is going with all this? I personally, I think like TJ and Mark both said, like we're going to be getting Battle of the Brothers. It feels like they want to deal with that first, and then let me go kill my brother real quick, and then we'll get back to all this.
At least then we'll have a solidified green again.
Yeah.
And then it's back to greens and blacks. Before I say that though, that setup of the scene was just so ridiculous. I kind of can't get over it in my head. Like him just talking to them and everyone, including us, being like, bro, what are you doing? Like what?
I was waiting for the Christian Cole treatment. Just
know what I mean? But then for some reason that he started really yelling, I'm like, that damn dragon won't pop up. And then you saw the faces. I was like, this is insane. And then it's like Joker laugh at the end. Yeah, I think TJ, that was probably a goated Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't know where. Not like that, but like
I don't know how I would rank it, but that's definitely one I'm gonna remember.
I'm gonna remember that for a long time. Like that was so epic to me.
I want to go ahead, Caesar. Sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I have kind of another topic to add on to this. So you finish where you were going.
It was just where do I think he's going? I think what you guys all said. It's in some capacity the Battle of the Brothers. Maybe it's the two brothers, and then in some weird way, Darren has to come and get involved in that instead of versus the Rhaenyra thing. I'm not sure.
Kill Aegon, Ormund, and Aemond.
Like that could easily happen. Or what if it's just Aemond versus Aegon? Ormond finds out and he sends Darren, and like there's just so many options with that. But I think in some capacity, two of the three brothers is going down.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how Darren is going to play into that dynamic because, I mean, we haven't seen too much of him, but
has he ever met them?
I don't think so.
Like never, right? He didn't.
She said that she sent him off as a baby to
we
hide. So yeah, they don't even know each other. But I feel, again, we haven't seen much, and again, we just talked about how everybody is gray in this show. But it feels like right now Darren is very kind of morally solid. So it'd be interesting to have his perspective come in between Aegon and Aemond and see how that plays out. But one last thing I want to talk about before we we'll talk about Mysaria and kind of end it off. But Sunfyre comes and saves Aegon. We all thought he was dead, but Aegon was convinced that he was alive. So, and we've talked about this before, but this seemed really like a for sure confirmation, if you would, that there is a very strong like psychic link between a dragon and its rider. Like there is something there, like a communication almost. And so I want to ask you guys, because I was thinking about this, and again, this isn't in the book. In the book, they just say that Aemond is, riding Vhagar around and burning everything. Similar to what, Rhaenyra thinks. Like Rhaenyra thinks that he's riding him. Nobody really knows that he's holding up in Harrenhal. So what I was thinking, I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. I will admit, maybe a little bit out there, but do you guys think it's possible that Aemond could be controlling? Now I'm blanking on the dragon.
Vhagar?
Yeah, could be somewhat controlling Vhagar in whatever Vhagar is doing. Because I mean, we've heard that Vhagar is burning these various little villages and towns, which it's like, I mean, yeah, dragons burn shit, but seems pretty like, why is it burning these? Like, why isn't it just flying around eating sheep and shit like Sheep Stealer does? And we see Aemond is having these kind of weird dreams and shit, which again, a lot to do with Alice. But where I'm kind of connecting this is similar to how Bran was able to control his wolf in his dreams. And not necessarily saying that Aemond is a green seer or even a dreamer.
A warg, but with dragons is crazy.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, not necessarily a warg, but again, that psychic connection that the dragon rider has with its dragon. He is, and again, maybe not even purposefully doing this, but somehow he is still connected with Vhagar and kind of doing what Aemond wants. What do you guys think? That's a little too out there, or you think I could be onto something here?
I feel like if it is out, I don't know. You would know what I mean. But if it is out there, only because the amount of control we've never seen that before with the dragon. That's where I'm like, how is he so that's like some Helaena stuff.
That's what I'm asking. I feel like this is an unknown how strong that connection is, but do you guys think that it could be strong enough in a sense of where someone, like TJ said, could more or less warg themselves as their dragon?
I think no, because I think dragons are too intelligent of creatures, especially compared to like something like even like wolf. That it wouldn't be done, and we've seen like Aemond can't even totally control Vhagar when he's on top.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
it's the Vhagar part of it. Yeah.
And so I could definitely see it being like Vhagar maybe doing something she thinks her rider could have wanted, or what she personally wants, and maybe that there is like that connection there, but I don't think there's any amount of control.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't necessarily think or mean control, but like you were saying, there's just this link with them. Like Vhagar is still acting on what Aemond would want, but again, it's not like he's like, oh yeah, burn that village. Like I said, it's just like a weird. Again, like I don't know how to really say what I mean. Like you said, like kind of the warg aspect, but again, not necessarily of like, oh, I am seeing through my dragon's eyes. Mark, what do you think?
He's sleeping and Vhagar is out there burning stuff.
Yeah, like there's just like you know what I mean? Like they're still, like I said, they're still connected, right? And like Vhagar is not just acting randomly. I guess would be a better way to put it. Not necessarily again acting on Aemond's exact orders, but again is still doing what Vhagar's supposed to do. Mark, what do you think? Again, am I going a little too out there on this one, or you think there could be something to again how deep this connection between a dragon and its rider goes?
So I think the most likely case is kind of alluding to what we said way back at the start of the pod, is just that the control that these dragon riders have over these dragons only goes so far. And Vhagar might have just been bored and decided, all right, well, no one to ride me right now. I'm not going to be cooped up here. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. If there is anything at play, I think the more likely scenario would be almost the opposite, where instead of Aemond still having some sort of connection and almost kind of subconsciously controlling Vhagar, that if anything, maybe Alice has taken some sort of steps through her witchcraft to try and sever that connection a little bit. Like, okay, well, maybe if I can separate these two for long enough, Vhagar will go off and do her own thing, and I can keep Aemond here. It's very clear she wants to keep Aemond there. She does not want him to leave. And if Vhagar's there, once he heals up, he can be like, all right, I have no more use for you. You're putting weird images into my head. I'm getting out of here. You're kind of a freak. So, if she can take some steps to kind of sever that connection between the two of them a little bit, that helps her case of keeping him there. But again, I think the more likely scenario is that it's just a dragon being a dragon.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it can really go either way. Just kind of something I was thinking about, but also shout out Future Boy in the comments. I think also makes a great point to kind of what I was trying to get at is, Alice mentions that Vhagar is staying away to protect Aemond. So again, just kind of that there's this connection there of where they can kind of, again, I don't know if communicate is really the right word, but yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to dive more into that. I think that, again, we see scenes and stuff in this series about, the deep connection of a dragon and its rider. But I think there's still a lot of questions there of, like, again, how deep does that connection go? Like, how, again, at the end of we just had this whole kind of discussion in the beginning about how at the end of the day, a dragon can't be tamed, which I still agree with. I think we're right on that. But again, how far does that go before that breaks? But ending off this episode, this was such a great episode. We've been going through it and I absolutely love it. But Mysaria and Rhaenyra. So we've mentioned Mysaria. We kind of end the episode off on this note. And I got to say, I was a little, not upset, but my thing with this scene was we talked about it. Mysaria is definitely out for herself. I think
you were upset because you wanted to see some boobies and they didn't give it.
I'm a married man, TJ, and I take offense to that comment.
Boobies.
But
TV,
huh?
You can still see boobies on TV.
Never. But
close my eyes.
What I'm getting exactly, I'm like a 10-year-old boy. I don't look at filth. But what I'm getting at though is what I found kind of funny and ironic is in the beginning of this scene, Rhaenyra is like, kind of like, yeah, screw you. I'm onto you, right? Like, I'm onto your shit. All you speak is honey in my ear and blah, 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 which 100% true. At least from my perspective, that's 100% true. But then, like, immediately after she finishes saying that, Mysaria does exactly that and, like, just appeases to her, again, speaking honey in her ear, and Rhaenyra just falls for it. Like, she's just, like, just falls for it right again. So
she's
that
so
was a little
desperate
bit...
for fucking anyone.
And again, I'm not saying it, like, doesn't make sense, but as the viewer and, like, on Rhaenyra's side, I'm like, girl, come on. Like, you literally just called her out for this, and you are just eating it up once again.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about Mysaria? Because again, she's another character that it's like she's so fun to watch, but I'm like, you obviously don't trust her. At least I don't 100%. But it's like, that's, to me, that just adds to her character. I mean, did any of us trust Viserys? Or not Viserys? What's the guy from the... Yeah, Varys. Did any of us trust Varys? Like, we all love Varys.
I trust Varys more than Mysaria.
But you get what I'm trying to say, though? It's like...
And Varys is out for the realm.
But that's what I mean, though. It's like, we all love Varys, but I don't think any of us ever trusted him, no matter who he was dealing with. So, obviously, like, that's kind of the role of the White Worm. But to me, it really feels like she is in over her head. Again, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Like, Varys had been the master of whispers for a long time, so he had that shit down. but we see she is still very much learning how to use this network, which I would also say too, when have we ever really seen one of her spies? Like, I'm not saying she doesn't have them, but part of me, Missaria, part of me feels like she's kind of hyping up her influence maybe a little bit more than the reality is. Because again, when have we ever really seen her have these spies, or even, I mean, I guess she knew Alicent was going to leave the Red Keep, but I mean, it's kind of an easy thing, I think, to figure. Like, that wasn't some crazy big secret. So what do you guys think about Missaria? Do you think, again, obviously she's out for herself and she's playing Rhaenyra a bit, but do you think, like Varys, she at the end of the day is out for the realm, if you would, or is she purely just, okay, I think we all agree on that pretty easily. Yeah. So what do you think her game is? What do you think she's trying to do here?
I think she likes to think that she's out for the realm and the small folk, but I think that conversation she had with one of her former friends this episode was like the boiling point of that. It's like, hey, that's not you anymore. You are out here for your own game. You get your own favor with the queen, gain power for yourself. You don't give a damn about the small folk anymore. And I do think that is true. And that's kind of what I've been saying. Like, I was more like Team Missaria earlier because she was for the small folk. I thought she was going to be a positive influence on Rhaenyra. But that's what I've been saying about her as a mistress of whispers all season, is like, she has no fucking whispers. She has like 3 spies, and they're among the small folk. She doesn't have connections throughout the realm that a master or mistress of whispers needs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like, she talks about how she, knows all these things and she has her spy. But again, I will say, I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but when Larys and Aegon are at that camp, we see this one dude look at them. He was in 2 episodes, and he looks at them pretty hard. And I theorize that could be one of her spies. But again, that hasn't been confirmed. We haven't seen that, so that still doesn't really count. So again, I want your guys' thoughts on this. I think that she's kind of not necessarily lying, but she don't got the sauce like she claims she does. Mark.
So I will say, we have seen her informants in the show before, but it has been a while. So there was a character, her name was Talia, and she was, I believe, a lady in waiting for Alicent. Back in season 1, it was revealed that she was a spy for the White Worm, which we then learned was Missaria. So
thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
We did see proof of her having this spy network, but I think this is by design, like TJ pointed out, with her friend kind of checking her. It's really been a while since she's actually had those little birds that Varys used to talk about having. Like, it's been a while since she's had boots on the ground. And Alicent even checked her 2 episodes ago, where she's like, "You're just like trying to get in good with Rhaenyra. Like, you remember, like, there used to be, you used to be someone who played all sides. Like, I heard legends about you. Like, why wouldn't it be in your best interest to kind of have dirt on me, but not necessarily wrap me out right now to Rhaenyra? Like, why don't you help everyone?" So, like, I think that Missaria has very much lost her way. Number one, because I think she is kind of attracted to Rhaenyra a good amount, and that is kind of clouding her vision. But number 2, she got a taste of power. She got in fairly easily with Rhaenyra, and was like, "Oh, damn, this is easy." And it definitely took her down a different path, to the point where, I don't think that she has the network that she used to have. She did used to have it, but now she's kind of making assumptions, and like, "Oh, well, I think the common folk would like this." And she was checked. She's like, "Yeah, you don't really know what we want."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I think, like you said, she's spent too long gone from her whispers, her spies. And like TJ said too, I'm curious to find out and know, like, it's like, let's say she's not lying, right? And she does have like all these spies or whatever, like she's connected like she says she is. But how far does that reach go outside of King's Landing? I mean, as far as we know, she was, no disrespect, that's what they say in the show, but she was a whore before in King's Landing. So has she even left King's Landing? Again, these are things that I'm curious to see. And Mark, I also got to know, and for the whole group, but I was thinking when you mentioned this, I kind of just assume this as fact. But again, I just curious what your guys' thoughts. When Alicent mentions like, oh, I've heard of the White Worm and how, they play all sides. I took that as like the White Worm before Mysaria, or do you think she was talking about Mysaria? Like Mysaria at one point had a lot of juice and this influence and was playing all sides, but like you said, now with Rhaenyra, she's changing. Or like I said, the way I took it was like whoever was the Master of Whispers before you was playing. What do you think?
I took it to mean it was directly about Mysaria, just because I think the Master of Whispers and the White Worm itself, I think that's two different identities.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, true. Like I say, as you were talking about it, I was just curious. Just quick little side question. But Otto Burnham.
Oh, Aegon.
True. Wait, what'd you say, Caesar?
I was like, I didn't know if you're about to go to the next one. I only wanted to say one little thing.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'm about to wrap it up, so any points like I might have forgot,
No, it's just about
the
scene. I feel like I saw, maybe that was just me overthinking it, but the fact that scene with her ex-friend, whoever that lady was, who said to her, hey, a whore's always going to be a whore, right? And to me, Mysaria's face reacted to that, like she was offended, but at the same time, she was also like,
good idea.
Got you.
Yeah.
And the next time we see her, she's making the most flirtatious play she's ever had to Rhaenyra since before she was there. So I'm like, oh, I think not only did that spark her an idea for that move, I think she's going to move like that.
Yeah.
And 100% moves like that, that can get her these connections that we are thinking she doesn't have. So I think that might have just changed her whole character a little bit. But again,
I like that
episode. So I don't know. That would be for next season if I'm even right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm not sure.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think that was kind of the reality check she needed, and like Mark was saying, now she's really going to be gathering these little birds like Varys.
Like a snake. Yeah,
it's like that Sam Wilson line from Tazimo. He's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah, literally.
That's perfect. Yeah.
I 100% think that. And again, I'm really curious to see how the White Worm and this Master, like, how is that going to come into play? Like you said, the White Worm, Master Whispers, whatever you want to call it. Again, we saw Varys playing everybody. So I would not be shocked if next season we see Mysaria getting a little cozy with the Greens and, figuring out what's going on over there.
And the Blacks too.
Yeah, again, she is
going to
definitely
move that way. You know what I mean? Just to get all ears, and,
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they take that character. But yeah, Rhaenyra, do better. Come on, don't let her just swindle you like that. That was so easy. That was way too easy.
To TJ's point, brother, I don't know the lad. Daemon don't touch that lady. Not that I want her. She don't get touched, man. And we all are human at the end of the day. Years. It's been years. The second that Mysaria put her hand on her shoulder, she's she couldn't take it. So I kind of had a feel for it. You know what I mean?
And I think too, like we've talked about, and TJ's, I feel like kind of main point of this whole episode with Rhaenyra is, I mean, in reality, that scene with Mysaria, whether romantic or not, was the only person this entire episode, and probably in the last couple episodes, to really like affirm her and like say like, you are doing what's right, this will pass. And like she just needed that in that moment, again, sexual or not, like she just needed reassurance. And again, great example of Mysaria knowing that and playing off of that. And
it's not to use like one final sports analogy with Rhaenyra, it just kind of feels like, don't get me wrong, she is 7 for 28 from the field. She's shooting terribly. She's got 8 turnovers. She's doing a bad job. But she's also got a bunch of G Leaguers around her. She's no support whatsoever. The team sucks. She's shooting terribly, but the team sucks. And so when Mysaria comes in, it's like, let me help. It's like, is this a good fit? Is this somebody that could bring me a championship? No. But it's somebody who knows how to dribble and shoot. And that's all I need right now. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
100%. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. It was a lengthy discussion, which we could have taken even longer, honestly. Like, we could have talked way more about Daemon and this kind of, Aemond and all that. But unfortunately, we got to wrap it up to save ourselves for next week, which is going to be the season final. I did not watch the trailer for next episode. I don't know if you guys did either, but I figure a good way to end this off, maybe not necessarily a theory. If you got a theory, please throw it out. But really, just what do you hope to see in this season finale that would kind of make it satisfying for you? Again, we're not going to get everything, but what's like one thing you hope they kind of tie up or leave, as a cliffhanger leading us into season 4? Mark, we'll start with you first.
I think I want to see a conflict between Aegon and Aemond. Because, not to spoil anything, we know that is not the biggest conflict between family members that we will get before this series ends. That would be a nice little preview if we can get a little showdown there. I would think that would be a really cool way to wrap up this season and build anticipation for the final season, knowing that there's still some even doper stuff to come.
100%. Caesar, what do you hope what do you hope will happen, and or what is one thing that would make it a very satisfying season for you?
Ooh. That's a hard one, man. I just don't want.
There's so many pieces on the board, right?
I just don't want Corlys to die.
No. I would be pissed if that happens.
I don't know. You know more than me, and I don't like your position right now.
I'm not going to say nothing, and I keep the spoilers to myself.
I don't know. We already got the deaths for the most part that I wanted. Besides now, Ormond, that would be too new in my opinion. Like, I feel like that might be too easy getting them by the.
You can't cut off a man's ring finger and then kill him the next episode. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, the flow burn that. You're right. But if that's the case, and honestly, nothing in a weird way, so much has happened in the season for me. I don't need much. I feel like everything's going to be a surprise for me because everything that's building up, Aegon and Aemond, do they even know that they're both alive right now? Right? Like, that's a whole thing. Rhaenyra, she's got a lot going on. I don't think any of that's going to be resolved. Everything feels like there's so much more needed for me to get to the end of it that I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of threads that we have to leave open for season 4. Yeah, because like I said, there's just so many pieces on the board right now. TJ, what is again among all of these pieces and kind of threads that are following through the season? What's one of them that you again would really make it if they close it up? Really make it a satisfying season for you, or what you want them to leave open.
I still kind of feel like the end of this has to be the end of the series has to be very Aemond Vhagar focused. And so I don't think that's where we go yet. Mm-hmm. And I think with Corlys's help, Darren will be killing Ormond.
Darren and Corlys team up. Yo, I think that'll happen. That's a great shout.
I think with Corlys's help, Darren is going to be killing Ormond next episode. Also a reminder, we'll be back to our normal time of Monday next week at for the finale to break it down. We're also talking X-Men 97 later this week. Next week we'll talk House of the Dragon, X-Men 97, and the new Star Wars Vision show, The Ninth Jedi. They're doing a full season of one of their Star Wars Visions. So we'll break that down next week as well. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Odyssey, San Diego Comic-Con, Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. We talked about all of that last week on YouTube and wherever you get your pods. And as soon as House of the Dragon ends, we're just going to keep it going every Monday at the same time to talk about Lanterns.
Beautiful. We are not at loss for things for you guys to watch. I always say, because TJ always has the schedule perfectly down, but I always just say, if you're watching anything on TV or have been enjoying anything at the theater, we are most likely covering it. So you can always come find us there. Mark, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's always such a pleasure having you on the council. I'm going to throw it off to you. Tell the people where you're at, anything you're working on you want to promote, and then TJ, you kind of already went through all of our schedule, but anything else going on in Agents of Fandom you want to take us out with?
At Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter. It's the last thing I gotta say. Mark, all you.
Yeah, I can be found. I'm very active on Twitter at Mark Pacelli 13. I've got about another month until hockey season consumes my life again with my coaching. So my off season is dwindling down. I can get in a couple of the first couple episodes of Lanterns before I lose all my free time. But I'm always looking to have good discourse on Twitter. So give me a follow.
Absolutely. Go follow Mark, and then obviously follow us wherever you can, all the social medias. But until then, we will see you guys on Monday for the season final of House of the Dragon.